get here to talk to you. So I would like Matagorda County to give them a huge round of applause because we had two people come in from Dallas. We had Lockhart, we had the Valley, McAllen, we had somebody who started in Lynn Passes and didn't make it beyond Bastrop, unfortunately. We had, I don't know where you come from, Gabby. From Houston. We had people from all over, from Brazoria County, from our own hometown. These people come from all over Texas to represent all over Texas. I think it is really important that you guys have all come out to support us today and to help us.
We've made the statement to people, not only across our local communities, but across the state, that we are all interdependent. And we have done a fantastic job in building bridges amongst our surrounding counties, where when one county has an event, we show up and we support and we use our network and raise awareness to where, we are building this framework together in the crossroads, where we are actually proving to people not only can we be effective, we are about our messaging, we believe in our convictions, and we actually can overcome the Republican messaging that says that we don't matter, that says that we are nothing. The same party that has rolled our state into ruin for the last 30 years. And we here, as normal everyday Texans, are here to say, enough is enough is enough. We've put up with it for far too long. The cost has been far too great, and there is far too much at stake to saddle not only our own futures, but those of our children and our grandchildren, into saddling them into a second-grade citizenship on behalf of whatever litmus test the Texas GOP wants to put forth at any given time during the week, whether it's Ken Paxton's security frauds or the Christian nationalism, you name it. But we're here saying no. We are everyday Texans. The same Texans that rose up and want our independence as a free nation, agreed to join the Union. We are the most independently minded state in the nation. We always have been, we always will be. We always have that self-determining factor that we can rally ourselves together and pull together and rise above. Any occasion we have always met, every occasion that has ever faced this state. And here we are facing that time again. We are facing the most, in my opinion, corrupt government we have ever faced in our history. Carte blanche blank. And it takes us to say in our rural counties, because yes, we can run up the numbers in our Democratic counties where we have majorities in our large cities all day long. Yes, that's great. But we are a 254 county state. We need a 254 county strategy. And we need to be, as rural people, not only in Matagorda, but in Victoria, in Jackson County, Bastrop, Goliad, DeWitt, Missouri, you name it. And we have to stand together in solidarity and say that we are not going to stand by and put up with this shit anymore. Excuse my language. I apologize. But that's just how I feel about it. We cannot stand by and allow this to continue. And so that is what we are all doing here. That's what we all believe, being in the same room together. And that is that's our focus. We will continue to do it. We will build upon it. And I am very confident that come next November, we will have the greatest victory since we elected Ann Richards in 1990. Thank you.
But Tanya is great, so you'll have her, and I expect y'all Don't get it twisted, Erica. So I am Marquetta Green Scott. I'm a candidate for Texas Congressional District 22. Matagorda used to be in it, they relaunched it, and we're no longer in it. But guess what? I'm running for Congress, so any decision I make will help you. Because you're rural. And they don't seem to care about our rural constituents. Brazoria County is rural. Matagorda is rural. Fort Bend is rural. They don't care. So we need somebody in Congress who listens to people, who talks to people. Y'all, pay attention to what's going on. This is what I've been telling people when I talk. We cannot rest on our laurels and just vote. That used to work. That doesn't work anymore. We need to do more. We have to have people who are willing and ready to register people to vote. We have to have people who are willing and ready to knock on doors, make phone calls, talk to your neighbors. I see some new faces in here, but I see a lot of my same people. We need to bring more people into the fold so that they can bring more people into the fold. Because look at what's going on. We don't have money for health care, but we can send $40 billion to Argentina. Make it make sense. And it works out well. That's all. Thank y'all.
This is a new district, right? And we didn't read it, but I'm excited to be here in Matagorda County and meeting new people. This is my third stop today. I was in Walker this morning for no meetings, and then back out for no meetings, and now I'm here. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. Is that better? My daughter's thinking, well, we're not going to go place. So I am a mom. My daughter's back here, she'll be 24. My husband's back there, we've been married 30 years, and I'm a kindergarten teacher. This is year 19 teaching for me. I've taught 4th grade, 2nd grade, and now I'm teaching 1st grade, and now I'm teaching kindergarten. I think they might kill me. I don't know. Kids are a lot. I love them. They're a lot. I never dreamed of running for office. That was not on my bingo card of life. My husband will tell you he has bugged me and bugged me and bugged me for the last 100 years. You need to run for office. No, I'm good. He's like, no, you need to run for office. No, I'm good. And in October, late October, early November of 23, I was sitting on my couch scrolling through social media, and I saw that our current congressman, Michael Cobb, was going to run unopposed. He is 100% pro-life, no exceptions. And I looked at my husband and I said, guess what, honey? He's like, what? I'm like, you have a congressional candidate on your hand for office. So here I am. But the reason I decided that, and the reason I said that he was 100% pro-life, no exceptions, my husband's going to he's going to walk out and he'll cry, is my daughter right here. I love her to pieces. But this happened with my teeth was this a parent of a former student. And so I was asking about the kids and how they were doing, and she had a set of twins that were born the year that I had her oldest son. I'm like, how are the twins? How are they doing? And she's like, they're great. And I said, are they dreaming? She's like, oh, they're working at Start. And I said, that's great. We love Head Start. She's like, if it wasn't for Head Start, I would not be able to work. Because I don't make enough money at my job to pay for healthcare. So her babies are at Head Start. One of the things that I want to do when I get to Congress is a universal pre-K, universal daycare system, so our families can afford to go to work. Because she said she would not be able to work if she did not have Head Start. So last night, or night before, one day this week, I was in, where was I? Jackson County, and I was telling that story about Head Start. And after it was over, a lady came over to me and she said, I was in tears when you told that story. I said, why? She's holding my hand. Many years ago, realized that not all the students were in school, even though they were school age. And I said, well, okay. And she said, they didn't know 400 English words. And to go to school, you didn't know 400 English words. So her aunt started the 400 word school. into Texas and Jackson County. That eventually became Head Start. And so right here, in our little towns in Texas, the things that we have done to forward our education for our kids and to fight for the people around us, right? If we did that in Jackson County and end of Texas, our Head Start. I remember when we had a blue governor named Ann Richards, right? I remember when Texas took care of each other. I remember when Texas was kind. And I want to take Texas back to that. When we were kind to each other, when we worked hard for each other, when we loved our neighbors, and we took care of our neighbors. If we did that before, we can do it again. And it's really funny. One little more of a story from my husband. Because when he was telling me, you need to run for office, I'm like, you can't do something? You run for office. He goes, you can tell people that was born in California, they'll run me out on a rail. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true. Never mind. I didn't know that you run for office. But I do, I have to shout out to my daughter and my husband because they are truly the ones that inspired me to run for the seat, and they help me so much. But I am so excited to meet Erica, and I'm in her BFF, right? And thank you for coming out. If you have any questions, catch me later. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you so much.
My name is Nick Pappas. I am currently campaigning to be the next governor of Texas in 2026. I will be the first Democratic governor of Texas in 35 years. That being said, I need everybody to pull out their phones real quick. I promise this is for a good cause. Please pull out your phones. And I need you to check your calendars. Because starting tomorrow, October 20th until October 31st, there is early voting for our special elections and our propositions, our ballot measures. These would be amendments to the Texas Constitution. Now, that being said, not a whole lot of people know what's going on with these propositions. There are multiple reviews, there are multiple video essays, there are multiple explanations online to help you choose yes or no on these propositions. If you do not know where to look, or if you've not seen one, send me a message on any social media platform, and I will hook you up. Because I want informed voters. Because the more informed you are, the more you're going to want to vote for me. But also, the more you're going to want to vote for our fellow Democrats. We have a lot of dogs in this fight. We require votes to win. Half of all eligible voters in Texas did not vote in the last election. A third of all registered Texas voters did not vote. That is a problem. We can fix that. So the next time you go to vote, which I know you're going to go vote, bring people with you. Bring the youth with you. If you have children over the age of 18, drag them. Tell them you'll buy them a beer or a pizza. It doesn't matter. You offer them anything, they will go. Make sure that that happens. We can make all of Texas blue, but we can only do it together. Which means everybody knows that in every election we have a primary. If there's going to be more than one Democratic candidate, the Democratic Party gets to decide through the voters who is actually going to get that nomination to run against the Republicans. We need to make sure that we have a strong primary. The more candidates that go to the primary, the better. That means you actually get a choice. Because if there's no primary, you get the choice that we give you. That's not fun. That's not democratic. So let's support every blue candidate all the way up into the primary. Don't talk trash. Don't disparage. Talk about the good. And then when they get to the primary, you can talk about how your favorite is better. But what we want to do is show a united party. The Republicans are very good at this. If anyone talks out, they just get primaried out inside of their own party. We don't have to worry about dealing with any of that. Because we have to worry about a lot of individuals throughout the entire state of Texas that think the Democrats do not have a shot in whatever particular race they're talking about. Oh, this county is too red, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. If we get people to the voting booth, those counties turn blue. Nice and easy. So that being said, I started this race, I started with passion, and that is exactly how I'm going to end this race. Hopefully passionately taking my position inside of the governor's mansion. But Just being inside of that seat does nothing. It means nothing. The only thing that matters is that we can take care of Texans. The only thing that matters is that we can bring progressive ideals to Texas. These help everyone. The Republican Party runs solely on, we need to make sure that those darn Democrats don't get anything. And we all run on, we want to make sure that everybody is taken care of. That is what we need to push throughout this state. It's not a group of people that are going to be taken care of. It is going to be every single Texan taken care of. Every single Texan having the exact same rights. And every single Texan being able to prosper and get a shot at that American dream. We can make this a reality. All you have to do is bring people with you to the voting booth. That's it. Nice and simple. You don't have to jump through any hoops. You don't have to read up on 300 years of American literature. All you have to do is tell your friends, hey, check out this person's website. They seem pretty cool, right? Look at the other person's website. They're calling you a monster and a devil. Who do you want to vote for? Nice and easy. They're doing the work for us. So let's not do the work for them. Let's make sure that we're supporting our new candidates. Let's make sure that we're showing up to the polls. And let's make sure that we are taking care of each other. That's how we're going to win. Thank you.
Yes, I am Councilman Benjamin Flores and I'm running for land commissioner. You may remember me from such features as, hey, I'm Councilman Benjamin Flores, I'm running for governor. Also from, hey, isn't that the guy racing pigs? That would not be true. Now, yes, it's true also that for the better part of a year I've been gearing up towards the governor's race. Some conjugal expression that your eyes are bigger than your stomach. And I've been going around the state. I've been talking to a lot of Texans. And their number one priority, when I asked them, hey, who's running to be the next governor of Texas in January 2027, what do you ask him or her? Fix this first. The number one answer is public schools. School pay, teachers pay, special purpose, things that have to go around schools, one way or another. Okay, of course I've got other answers, like fix the Texas Department of Transportation, get rid of Trump, get rid of Abbott, all this round. But the number one answer has been school. I've also listened to a lot of veterans. There's gaps in veterans benefits, especially when you go down to the Rio Grande Valley. They have to go to San Antonio to get access to specialists. Just one quick example. Now, she's also correct in what the heck does the land commissioner do? It is the biggest little office that most Texans have no clue what it does. I'm gonna see if I can do it justice. It puts money, or manages the money, for what is called the permanent school fund. You see, this is a big bank where all the schools get money from. It oversees the benefits that our veterans receive in the state. It manages a buttload of land. All our coast is managed by this department, and especially for the folks in this area, it handles disaster recovery efforts. So after Vero, it was GLO that came out, which is the General Land Office. Drainage projects, flooding mitigation, all that is in charge of that. So I'm a stubborn guy. I'm not stupid. So when I look at all those things, I'm like, you know what? I can get more money for school, which, if we do that, we can take the pressure, or some of the pressure from your property taxes. Think about that, right? We can improve the quality of life of our veterans, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, mitigation. This is where I'm from. So the decision wasn't that much more different, right? For me to keep running for this office, it's really the biggest challenge is just education. But at the end of the day, candidates, really any candidate that is running for office will need your support. And get them to vote. The reason reason why I say we're living in tough times, I want to share a conversation I had with my mom. So when I was in primary, in elementary school, we learned about World War II, Nazis, concentration camps. And you passed the class, but I personally never thought I would be living in similar times. Never did. I thought, cool story, right? And I was telling my mom, the reason why I was a little bit pessimistic was because I know how that story ends. And I don't like it. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to do everything in my power to change that out, to that possible outcome. Trust me, I left for Austin last night, I was at an event this morning, I came here and I'm leaving again tomorrow, or Monday, and then I'm gone for another week. Every single time for me to get up is, why are we doing this? I want to change that possible outcome. So that's why I ask for your help. I ask you for your consideration of your vote, of your donation, because every donation, small, large, you are voting on the future of Texas. You're saying this is how I want it to look like. That's what it means. Whoever you support, that's what you're actually saying. So again, I'm Councilman Benjamin Flores, formerly candidate for governor, but I'm running for land commissioner. It's a statewide office. That's the question that I get. It's a statewide office. And honestly, guys, gals, let's get out there. Let's run strong. Take a little nap every now and then. Get some food. But we're not going to stop running. We're going to go strong. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. We'll see you all around.
I was your Democratic nominee last year for the Railroad Commission. Unfortunately, we were not successful, but I don't give up that easily. So I'm back. We have a new opponent this year. Many of you do not probably know that we have 3 railroad commissioners in Texas. All our other commissioners, there's only one of. Railroad, we've got 3. So they are on the ballot every 2 years. So we're against a new opponent this year. And the other fun thing that many people don't know, the Railroad Commission has nothing to do with railroads! Woo! It is all about the oil and gas industry here in Texas. Very important industry. Nothing to do with railroads. So don't ask me if we're going to get the high-speed rail between Houston and Dallas. Don't ask me if we can create zones with no horns. Don't ask me about, the train that gets stopped on your way to work. Those are important issues. Nothing to do with the Railroad Commission. They are all about oil and gas. So a little about me. I work in oil and gas. Crazy. I know the industry. Our current 3 commissioners don't work in oil and gas. They don't know the industry. So I work as a process safety engineer for an oil and gas company. And what that means is I work every day to make sure that my company is following the rules that are already in place. And I make sure that my company is protecting our workers so that they go home at the end of the day with all their fingers and all their toes in the same or better condition than when they came to work that morning. My position, I make sure that we are protecting our environment. We are not polluting our environment. We are not polluting our air. We are not polluting our water. We are not polluting our land. And with that, we protect our communities so that we're good neighbors. I depend on a strong oil and gas economy. So I'm not saying let's get rid of oil and gas, but I'm saying let's do it safer. Let's do it smarter. Let's follow the rules. Make sure that all the companies are following the same rules so that, the big guys, the Exxons and the Chevrons aren't getting special treatment just because they gave a nice little campaign donation for the commissioners. Right? Let's make sure that we're all following the same rules so that we have a level playing field so that we can all be prosperous. We can all take advantage of the benefits of the oil and gas industry.
So that's a little about me. I live in Houston. As I said, I work in oil and gas. I'm getting out there, you know, it's a big state. Kendall's only been to, what did you say, 50 counties. I think I might have beat them by now. Between last time and this time. It's a big state. We got a lot of work to do, and it's an uphill battle, but we can do it. And I look forward to working with all of you to be successful and make the Railroad Commission work for all of us and protect all of us. Thank you.
My name is Thomas Ray Garcia. I'm an educator and Democrat who's going to flip State Board of Education District 2 from red to blue. This seat, I know, is not a Republican seat. In 2022, for the first time in the district's history, it was flipped by the Republicans by only 0.4 percentage points. I know District 2 doesn't stand for school vouchers. I know District 2 doesn't want to whitewash civil rights history and teach biased political information in the classroom. And I know District 2 stands up for school workers. I used to be a high school teacher, and I'm currently a community college professor at South Texas College in McAllen, in Hidalgo County. I know the power of public education because I was raised by a single mother who worked 50 to 60-hour weeks and used to tell me, education is your superpower. We didn't have much growing up. We often had to skip out on a doctor's meeting, or I had to wait to get a textbook I needed, or I had to skip out on a certain extracurricular. But what we did have was grit, love, and perseverance. And that taught me a lot growing up about the power of education. And when I walked into the classroom, I could rise above poverty. I could rise above my circumstances. The reality is there are too many cracks in the system though, and I almost fell through the cracks. If not for going to the counselor's office and saying, I know what my statistics look like, come from a single-parent household from quote-unquote the wrong side of town. But you should give me a fair shot at those harder classes my friends are in. Put me on a pathway to college. Just give me a fair shot. Because they gave me a fair shot, I was able to prove, yes, I can compete with the other students. I could be on a pathway to college, and not just any college, but I could work hard to get a full ride financial aid package to Princeton University. And that's exactly what I did. When I got into Princeton, I never forgot where I came from. I had one foot in Farr, my hometown, and one foot in Princeton. I understood I could have fallen through the cracks. My friends almost fell through the cracks. But thankfully they knew somebody who had risen above and knew how to overcome some systemic barriers in our school district, how to find resources that weren't readily available to us. We understand our teachers are overburdened and our counselors are not counseling. They're burdened with administrative work that should not be given to them. Our teachers and counselors did their best, but even then it took us 19-year-old alumni to rise up and give back to our school district. My path to education started when I was 19. I founded a college access program that helped my school district bring back young alumni who had just graduated from high school to help the next generation with the college admissions process. For many years, I taught courses on writing, on financial aid, on leadership development, and engaging other young people to come back and remember where they came from. Right after graduation, I became a high school teacher, and I started to see the cracks firsthand. There were students who didn't come back to my classroom after the 2016 election. Migrant students, students whose families lived in Mexico along the border. Other families who were disproportionately impacted by our president's policies. I understood that it wasn't enough to fill in the gaps anymore. I needed to start closing these opportunity gaps. When I first ran for this position in 2022, I was in a 5-way primary, and I was a first-time candidate. We had 4 candidates from the Rio Grande Valley and 1 from Borden County, and they say I was the one that came out of nowhere. I was proud to be endorsed by Texas AFT teacher unions, Texas AFL-CIO, and a national organization, Run for Something, which endorses viable candidates under the age of 40 running for local and statewide office. That was the power of our campaign to bring people together all across the 14 counties, from Hidalgo up here to Matagorda, showing up everywhere, big school districts, small school districts, and being the candidate for everybody. We didn't have enough time in 12 weeks I often tell people I'm a long distance runner, I'm not a sprinter. 2022 was a 12-week sprint. The 2026 election is going to be a 12-month marathon. I am here in Matagorda today because I understand the power of showing up early. I understand the power of organizing, and I know we can flip this district back from red to blue once we start organizing our communities today. We need to do this because if we don't fight for our public schools at the State Board of Education, we can't fight for them anywhere else. The State Board of Education determines what teachers teach and what students learn in public school classrooms. They set the graduation requirements for high schools. They determine what textbooks and other instructional materials school district can adopt. They co-manage the permanent school fund with the general land office, and so many other duties that impact the quality of public schools. It's dictated by 15 members, 10 Republicans, 5 Democrats, but you often don't see the votes going 10 to 5. We actually have some common sense Republicans who believe public schools should be protected, that we should not be teaching politics and religious fundamentalism in public schools. And we often see an 8 to 7 vote, with our State Board of Education member based out of Corpus Christi being that 8th deciding vote to revamp the social studies curriculum, to de-emphasize world history and world cultures and add more Texas history, which is a pathway for them to start whitewashing our American history. They often vote 8 to 7 to approve Bluebonnet Learning, which is the Bible-infused curriculum being taught to K through 5th graders that does not teach proper reading, writing, and math skills to our students. It often votes 8 to 7 to remove the board's long-standing opposition to school vouchers. Our State Board of Education member's first vote in January 2023 was to revoke the board's opposition to vouchers, which in my view leaves him culpable and blamed. Primary dates, it has more about my background and my qualifications. I also brought yard signs with me. Please take one before you go. And I'll leave you with this. When we believe in a brighter future, we really believe in stronger schools. We need to remember that our public schools are the gateways to opportunity for everybody. But we need to make sure that that is our reality in the 21st century. I believe in brighter futures. I believe in stronger schools. I believe in leaving the world a better place for our children than the world we inherited. And I believe that work starts at the State Board of Education. My name is Thomas Ray Garcia from Hidalgo County. I will be proud to be your nominee next year, and we can only do so through organizing, through hard work, and knocking on doors. So I'll be here to talk to you after our event. Wish me safe travels back to Hidalgo, and I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Thank you for having me.
Stood in modern history on the side of working class people, and we have an obligation to do that again. We have lost track of who we are. That's my opinion. And so, as the new chair of the party, here's what I tell the candidates in the room every time I get a chance. I better not hear you going around this state talking about how you're going to preserve Social Security. You're going to talk about how you want to expand Social Security, because that's what it means to be a Democrat. Big, bold, progressive ideas that change lives for working class people. You better not talk about how people should get to see a doctor when they're sick. You should have a right to see a doctor before you get sick. We're not going to fight to make sure that your schools don't get their doors boarded up. We're going to make sure you have the best funded public schools in the country, because those public schools are the greatest equalizer to make sure that the people at the bottom have an opportunity to achieve the dreams that their grandparents and their parents had the opportunity to do. That is what it means to be a Democrat. We will fight on behalf of working class people every single day. You know that if you elect a Democrat, they will take on whoever they have to make sure you're getting your fair shot. So,
when I was 12 years old, Republicans were trying to take kids like me out of our homes and put us in foster care, so I started knocking on doors. And for the last 20-some odd years, I've served on every level of leadership in our party, including in March of this year, being elected one of only 2 millennials in the country to lead a major party in this country. Now, what does it mean when millennials are leading the state party? Well, it means we're not just taking punches anymore, we're going to start throwing them too. Because I am sick and tired of Republicans leading us around the state trying to tell people what we stand for. That's our job, is to tell people what we stand for. We are a party that will take on whatever billionaire, whatever banker, whatever bootlicking bastard we have to make sure that the little guy gets his seat at the table. That is who we are as a party.